If you had one piece of advice you would give to a parent to help them help their child, set the child up for success during these times, what would that advice be?
Whew. I wish I had an easy answer.
No easy answer. It's not one answer, but
That's true.
that's
And
the
there is no
segment.
easy answer. This stuff is rough. I guess that's exactly where I would start is no one's doing this 100% right. So cut yourself and your child some slack where you can. We need to operate with a little bit of grace right now, like I said at the start of this call. And it's really important that parents also extend that to themselves, particularly parents of color and single parents of color. Like, this is hard. What you are doing and how you are showing up for yourself and your child every day or children is hard work on top of got you survival, everything else on the list, right? It's hard. So like we do need to remind ourselves that like our humanity does matter first. Cut your kids some slack and cut yourself some slack. That does not mean that expectations need to hit the floor. And I think we like don't realize that those can exist mutually, right? Like we can show ourselves and these kids some grace while still learning. I learn every day with these kids learn every day from me, and days look different. That's all I can say. But what I will say has really been a big support, at least for the parents I work with, who are not from low income backgrounds. So that is definitely a distinguishing factor in parents that I generally work with. But I think across the board, one thing that has worked both in my experience with those parents and with my current parents, it's really about creating a conversation. And that doesn't mean that your expectation for how often parents are going to participate is the same expectation you're going to hold for yourself and other teachers or other staff members. It's just making room for the conversation, extending the line, and asking parents to set their boundaries. Kids right now, if they're working from home, this is important to me, at least as an educator. Like as soon as you turn on your screen, I'm in your space. You know what I'm saying? So to me, and as we started this call, you can set the framework for your podcast. And in a way that's setting a type of boundary for like what this space is meant to be, because we're sharing it right now. Yes. And so I think a large part of the work right now is for teachers to make the space for that and tell parents, it's okay for you to have boundaries and set those for yourself and your kid right now. Let me know. And for parents to be willing, open, and honest enough to at least share what they're willing, open, and honest enough to share about the situation, whatever is happening, how they can be best supported during this time. And I know that that's asking a lot because some of us are tired of being vulnerable. This has been a vulnerable year. It is exhausting to be vulnerable. It is exhausting to ask for help. It is exhausting to be seen when you're going through it sometimes in whatever way. And we're all going through it. We're all going through it. So let's mask off. Let's keep it real. Let me show up for you how I can best show up for you. And I can't show up for you as best as I can if I don't know where you're at. I don't know where your kid's at. So let's be honest. And then again, if this is the school standard, that doesn't mean that that's where my standard is, right? This is where our standard is, because this is still growth. Yes. And this is reasonable. And this is going to make your kid feel successful. And guess what? They'll probably reach that and get closer to that standard anyway. That's the beauty of this stuff, right? That's the magic in good teaching and good pedagogy and support systems. Community care. It elevates us. Yes. So we know that ultimately the outcome is going to be fantastic, but it does take two to tango.